Hey everybody, so for today's scary story, I'm going to tell you about Mudhouse Mansion. I got my laptop here, so I'm going to be referencing to this a lot because I don't want to miss anything, and I will post a photo of this mansion house at the end of this video. So let's see, Mudhouse Mansion is a haunted house located outside of Lancaster, Ohio. According to locals in Lancaster, the house was built in the early 1800s by a government official who lived there after the Civil War. The man still kept slaves in the Mudhouse Mansion, even though it was illegal. It seems this man didn't abide by the law and kept his slaves locked up in an outbuilding at night. He treated his slaves very poorly, and conditions were so bad that one slave started building a tunnel underneath the wall of the outbuilding. He dug a little deep every night after the lights in the mansion had gone out and the slave owner and his family had gone to sleep. Eventually his tunnel was completed and he squeezed himself down the small opening and came up on the other side of the wall. In the dead of night, he crept towards the mansion, slipped the lock on the back door, tiptoed up to the staircase, and killed everyone inside. In the morning, locals discovered what had happened, but all the slaves had escaped and no one was ever charged with the crime. The house lay vacant for years afterwards, and neighbors heard strange groans and shrieks coming from within the empty mansion. Everyone believed it was haunted by the ghosts of the slave owner and his family. Nobody dared to enter the menacing looking building. And when you see the picture, it looks pretty creepy. According to local legend, a man accidentally did buy it. Actually did buy the house. I thought it was accidentally. How do you accidentally buy a creepy house? A man actually did buy the house in 1892 and moved in with his wife and their 3 children. Neighbors saw the family moving in, unloading their belongings from trucks and carrying them into the house. And then, nothing. Neighbors never saw them again. The family never left the house. Neighbors thought that it was very odd of a family of 5 to spend all their time indoors. When one neighbor looked out her bedroom window, all she could make out was the figure of a woman dressed in all white, standing at the 2nd floor window. The figure wasn't doing anything, just standing there, staring at her. When the neighbor looked again, the following day, she said she saw the figure again, standing in the same position. Every day, whenever the neighbor looked at the Mudhouse Mansion, the figure was always there, standing in exactly the same position. The artwork that they have in here is weird. Oh my gosh. On the 10th day, she called the police and asked them to investigate. When police broke into the mansion and climbed the stairs to the 2nd floor, they were greeted by a terrible sight. All 5 family members were hanging lifeless from the ceiling. They were all dressed in white nightgowns. It appeared that they had taken their own lives. The figure the neighbor had seen was the mother of the family. She had been standing at the window. She had been hanging there. Oh my gosh. For 10 whole days. After that, nobody would live in the house, and it has remained vacant to this day. People still come to visit the old mansion, but the current owner will not allow anyone to enter the property. She is afraid that if anyone goes in, they will never come out alive. Local children call it Mary's house and tell each other that the famous Bloody Mary of legend grew up there. People who live in the area say that on cold, dark nights, you can sometimes still see the figure of the woman, all in white, standing motionless out on the 2nd floor window. This is a pretty crazy house. I want to go there and explore it. It's really, I think it's amazing looking. Yeah, that's a crazy house, and you'll see at the end of this video. But let me know what you think of this story. Do you think it's true? How could a whole family of 5 hang themselves? It's a little interesting to me that children could hang themselves like that. I don't know. I'm trying to find a logical explanation for that. Maybe the parents hung the children and then hung themselves. I don't know. I don't know any other information on this other than it is a creepy story. So tell me what you think. Do you think that a family of 5, like with children, could hang themselves? Or maybe somebody else did it, or the parents went crazy? I don't know. Let me know what you think, and enjoy the photo. Okay, so I'm back after telling you guys a story about the Mudhouse, I decided to Google it. I found images that someone had taken, and this website's called ForgottenOH.com, so Ohio. So I guess the guy who does this website, I'm going to put the link to this website down below in the description. But I was trying to Google some more images so I could give you guys better photos at the end of the video. And that's when I found images of the whole inside. I don't know how this guy got them. But I'm reading his story. Dude, this is freaking crazy. So I had to like film the rest of this, alright? So, let me see if I can find it. I have my laptop right here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so according to all reports, a woman named Jeannie Mast is the primary owner of the Mudhouse Mansion. I've also heard that she lives in Lake Road nearby. Mudhouse Mansion is by far the most popular part of the entire Forgotten Ohio website, and I get emails about it quite regularly. I once heard from a representative of a community that wanted to turn the house into a haunted Halloween attraction. I also heard from a lady who seemed to be quite serious about buying the whole shebang and rehabbing it as a place to live. And I've gotten plenty of mail from people who don't want to sneak inside that place and think they might be able to get permission to go inside if they ask the owner. The one thing all these stories have in common is the fact that Jeannie Mast turned them down flat. Most property owners are receptive to honest, polite people who ask permission before going into their abandoned buildings, but not so with Miss Mast. Several people who have told me about getting caught at Mudhouse by the police, who apparently sometimes watch the house with Jeannie Mast, who always tries to press charges. Yes, Jeannie Mast watches her property. I know the stereotypical crazy lady property owner is usually just another part of the legend, but in this case, it's true. Jeannie seems to have free time on her hands to match the chip on her shoulder about people sneaking into her ruin of a building. You're welcome to go ahead and try to get permission to go into the Mudhouse Mansion, but this is one haunted house you won't be visiting legally. And if you visit it these days, even when Jeannie is asleep, you're nearly guaranteed to run into guards or of some kind. Sometimes they're the police, as mentioned above. More often, they seem to be an amateur guard hired by Mast to watch not only her property, but the public stretches of lake and Mudhouse roads nearby. If you pull down the driveway, you'll probably be blocked in by a pickup truck while the police are called. This, at least, is loosely within the rights of the house's owner. Many of the activities of her amateur security force make it sound like they're willing to cross all sorts of lines. One good friend of the site came back to his legally parked car only to find the windshield smashed in. Another story came to me about Mr. Guard trying to run two girls off the road because they let two friends out to take photos of the house. If anything like this happens to you, I encourage you to get the license plate number and report him to the police. It sounds like CCTV cameras might actually benefit people who are illegally on the road, parked or not. Nobody has the right to destroy your car or attack you physically for something so minor, least of all when you stick to the public roads. So get a plate number, press charges. Believe me, menacing and assault are much worse crimes in the eyes of the law than trespassing. And yes, Mast does press charges. She must spend the equivalent of a full-time job making sure that people taking pictures of her abandoned house go to court and get jail time and or probation. And here's a recent twist. I've gotten a couple of emails, always CC'd to someone at Fairfield County municipalcourt.org, which give a self-flagellating account of what a terrible mistake this person made and how they ended up getting caught for walking around the house snapping photos, then taken to court and sentenced to 2 days in jail and 2 years probation. Including in the emails is a line to the effect of, quote, "Sending you this email was part of my probation agreement." And then, I'm honored that the court thinks enough of this website's influence to sentence people to write me, but I wonder what else they expect me to do on this page. I've made it clear that the dangers of exploring Mudhouse these days, or he's made it clear that it's not safe. I suppose they want the whole page yanked down. Let's see. Here's another interesting anecdote about the inaccessibility of the mansion. In 2002, I received an email from a reporter for the Lancaster Eagle Gazette who was preparing a story about it. She and I corresponded for about a month, during which she said she was getting ready to contact the Mast family and see if they'd be interviewed. Then, all of a sudden, I stopped hearing from the reporter. The story never ran, and she wouldn't even reply to my messages anymore. Obviously, the Mast killed the idea of the story, and the reporter wouldn't even talk to me about it anymore. This despite the warmth and openness of our prior correspondence and the fact that we figured out she'd gone to journalism school with one of my best friends. Oh, surprisingly, I have not gotten the standard "remove this house from your website or I will sue your ass" email from Jeannie Mast. So, if you're in Ohio and you want to see this house, don't, because you won't get permission, even though it looks freaking cool. And I'm just gonna like do like a montage of all the photos that I'm finding, you know. So I'm saving all of them right now. Here's a really cool one that's pretty cool. It's like, looks like it snowed, which is really cool. But I'm gonna show you all the photos that I'm finding. Have them up here. Oh, it's just crazy. I mean, seriously. I mean, I've heard of people, oh my gosh, what is this? It says shootings and arson. One thing, I'm going to read you this really quickly. One thing I was assured of from the start about Mudhouse Mansion was that it would not be an easy one to sneak into. Even before people started emailing me about their encounters with Jeannie Mast, the owner or owners of the place were notoriously serious about keeping intruders off their land. My friend Buzz tells me he's had guns fired into the air to frighten him away, and a mutual friend of ours claimed to have been shot at while escaping down the creek bed. None of the several times I was inside Mudhouse Mansion did any of my friends or I come across any shotguns wielding rednecks, but I can't guarantee you won't. Be careful if you decide to go. It's all too easy to get cornered or cut off from your escape route, and I've heard from many people who suffered just that fate after a poorly planned visit. For the easily frightened, maybe taking a vacation to Utah and doing some Park City ski rentals might be better suit you. As extreme as the Masts are in guarding their place, it is understandable to some extent. Besides the typical vandalism and spray painting, there have been 2 fires, one in the mansion itself and another that wiped out a smaller abandoned white house that used to stand just past the beginning of the driveway on Mudhouse Road. For a while, it was the only place close enough to hide your car from view. The fire inside the Mudhouse occurred on Thursday, July 17, 2003. It didn't consume the whole place, but it did some damage to the first floor and made it even less safe to explore. Here is the story from the police beat section of the Lancaster Eagle Gazette, Saturday, July 19th. Sheriff deputies and the Pleasant Township Fire Department responded to a fire in an abandoned house in 4500 block of Mudhouse Road around 2:40 a.m. Thursday, the sheriff's office reported. From the road, officials could see no fire coming from the mansion, which sits about 150 feet back from the road. Upon closure inspection, firefighters found boards ripped off a window and a small fire burning inside the main level area. They cut through the floor because hot embers had fallen through the burnt floor. The individual who called about the structure fire provided deputies with a list of phone numbers of the 5 young people who knocked on the door around 2:30 a.m., telling the woman the mansion was on fire. They reported seeing a large cloud of black smoke coming from the home. Deputies contacted some of the individuals who claimed they were trying to help and were not trespassing in the area. They were told by deputies that they were subject to being contacted by arson investigators. Dang, man. So, when it comes to haunted buildings and places, I mean, I understand not wanting people to explore it or anything, and wanting, I mean, it could be a danger to society, I guess, you know, if you're exploring it. I mean, I guess number one rule is to never break into a place. It never hurts to ask, and hey, worst case scenario, they say no. But I do see the other side, that if you own a place that you don't want people to explore, be nice, you know, because, yeah, there are a lot of assholes out there that just want to break in and spray paint and destroy things, but there's some people out there who mean well, you know. And I don't know, sometimes assholes ruin it for everybody else. But I just wanted to make note of this because it's kind of scary stuff. I've never heard about somebody like pressing charges or being that crazy about people exploring like an abandoned place. And the house is seriously so cool, so amazing. I mean, you see the outside, and the story that I read to you guys where it said that no one lets, like, the owner doesn't let anybody in the house because they are afraid no one will get out alive. I personally think that was just meant for, maybe it made her sound nice. I don't know. Gosh, I'm just looking at all these photos of this house, and he tells you how you can get to the house, like, he gives you directions and stuff, so if you really want to be daring. Oh. But this house is seriously so freaking cool. It's really cool. Like, seriously. So he gives you the address and everything. So I'm going to give you guys the website to this. His website's actually really cool. I might do more stories based on his haunted places that he does things on. Because it's actually really helpful. And he has, I'm guessing he took all the photos from the inside and everything. So I think this is an awesome website, in all honesty. It's called ForgottenOH.com, just so you guys know, but the link's down below also. And he gives the whole story on why it's haunted and what makes it haunted and everything. So yeah, check that out. But I just thought I would let you guys know that if you live by it or you want to go visit it, be freaking careful. Or just don't visit it at all. Just look at photos online and enjoy from the internet. It just makes it, I don't know, to me it's kind of sad to see this crazy, amazing looking house sit abandoned and not being taken care of, because eventually one of these days nature is going to take it and it's going to fall apart. So I don't know what the goal is or the point of owning a house if you're not going to do anything with it. When somebody could buy it and fix it up, restore it, turn it into a museum of sorts, or make it into something good, you know, do something good with it, even if it's a haunted thing, I don't know. But everyone has their reasons, and obviously the owner wants to not give those reasons, and I can respect that. So I don't know, check out the photos, and I hope you guys enjoy, and don't break into places, and don't get caught, and don't be stupid, and I don't know, be smart about it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy all the photos, because there's a lot. Okay, bye.